The thing I love about all these bracket challenges and everything is that when your bracket is completely busted like mine is, half of my Final Four is gone and I don't even think I have a complete Elite 8 matchup. It's terrible, but ESPN and other channels or whatever you want to call it, other websites will come out with a second chance bracket. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So it's just from the Sweet 16 all the way to the National Championship. Now, I already came out with my Sweet 16 picks. Definitely go check out that video if you haven't already. And while you're at it, hit the like button on this video and hit the sub button down below. I'd really, really appreciate it if you could do that. It mean a lot to me and my partner on this channel, Bernie. Really trying to grow the channel, and all we do is talk about sports. So if talking about sports is something that you like, definitely sub. It's something that you want to do. Guarantee you. Let's get straight into this video. Let's stop beating around the bush and start talking about who will I have going to the national championship, who will I have going to the Final Four out of these 8 games that we have here. How many teams is that? We have 8 games, so 16 teams left. That's why it's called the Sweet 16. I shouldn't have taken me that long to get that. And then in the Elite 8 and the Final Four, you have 8 and 4 teams. That's how that works. It's crazy how they set that up. Okay, let's start off with the West. Gonzaga's not going to lose to Creighton. Yeah, Creighton beat Ohio. They had a close game against UC Santa Barbara. But this Gonzaga team is too good. Again, in my Sweet 16 picks video, if you haven't watched that, again, go do it. A lot of people were getting cheesed at me because I admitted in the comments I did not watch a single game of Gonzaga basketball all season long. And I'll start off by saying that because, first of all, when they did play their good games, it was football season, football over college basketball. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows the rules. I don't make the rules. 2, why would I want to watch West Coast Conference basketball? And 3, just because I didn't see Gonzaga at all this season, regular season, doesn't mean I can't take how they played the last 2 games before and analyze how they're going to do in this tournament. Because if it was all based on regular season, why do we not have Illinois in this? Why do we not have Ohio State in this still? Why do we not have Iowa in this? Why do we not have the big seeded team still in this if it's all based off of regular season? It just doesn't make any sense. So to all of you who are mad at me that I didn't watch Gonzaga at all this year, and I'm going to come out here and give my opinion still, I apologize, but that's just what I'm going to do. USC versus Oregon. I really like where this USC team is at. They are getting hot. They smacked Kansas. And yes, Oregon played an amazing game against Iowa. But Iowa, in my opinion, was the second most overrated team in this tournament anyways, over Oklahoma State. I think USC is going to take this game. It is good for the Pac-12, though, that they have the most amount of teams in this still. I'm pretty sure you got Oregon State, you got USC, Oregon, and then you got UCLA. So that's 4 teams, I'm pretty sure. 4 teams for the Pac-12. Good for them. And they got an all Pac-12 matchup, so 1 guaranteed to the Elite 8. Next off, we'll move off to what? Let's go right. We'll go to the South region. Baylor, Villanova. Villanova's starting to figure things out. They've had a couple of good wins. Yes, you beat Winthrop, they weren't anything special. And then you beat, who was the 13 seed? Because North Texas, because they beat Purdue. I still think Baylor's the best team in this region, probably. Or I'm not going to call that early because that might give away my pick. And I actually is thinking that I'll go pick another team to the Final Four other than Baylor. But for now, keep Baylor, beating Villanova. And then Arkansas, Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts is the team I am going to be cheering for to win the whole thing, no matter what. I would love to see a 15 seed win the whole thing, but I know that it's unrealistic. And this isn't a video for me picking my personal favorite teams in all this, because first of all, I would not pick Gonzaga. I would not pick USC. I would not pick Michigan. I would not pick, who else would I not pick? I definitely wouldn't pick Houston. Those are some teams that I just don't like. So even though I love Oral Roberts, got to get on the bus. Eric Musselman is going to take the Arkansas Razorbacks to the Elite 8. That is a team that I would be worried about this season, the Arkansas Razorbacks, for the rest of the tournament. Let's move on to the Midwest. Loyola, Chicago, and Oregon State. Man, Krutwig on Loyola Chicago, what a fun player he is to watch. He's just a guy who puts his heart out on the line, wears his heart on his sleeve. Even though Oregon State has been heating up, they've come out of nowhere. They've honestly come out of nowhere, winning the Pac-12, and now they're making this run into the Sweet 16 and perhaps the Elite 8, but I'm going to go Loyola Chicago. Obviously an underseeded team. They didn't get the respect that they deserve, so I'm taking the Ramblers here. Sister Jean, moving on. Syracuse, Houston. I said I don't like Houston, and this isn't a biased pick But I am honestly going to take Syracuse. If you've already watched my Sweet 16 picks in here, this is my upset for the Sweet 16. Houston played a close game against Rutgers, and yes, they beat Cleveland State, good for them, but I don't think that this is a sound team as you'd think. Syracuse is orange hot, as I referred to in my Sweet 16 pick. Buddy Boeheim is playing amazing recently. I really like where the Syracuse team is at. I think that they are going to go on and beat Houston for a 2 seed. I just don't think Houston is worthy of that 2 seed. Now, that can completely come back and bite me because, yes, I see Houston losing this game, and I'm going to pick Houston losing this game, but if they make it to the Final Four, it's not like I'm going to be shocked. So I'm taking the Syracuse Orange, and then I'm taking the Loyola Chicago Ramblers there, and then moving on to the last region, the East region. Michigan, it's not that hard to pick here. I have Michigan beating Florida State. I had Michigan going out to LSU, and that was a really close game throughout, but this Michigan team's really, really good, especially their big guys in Dickinson and Wagner. Michigan's a good team, and I just don't see Florida State beating them. Even though they beat a good Colorado team, whatever, I think Michigan's winning this game. And then, even though UCLA is really, 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 really hot right now, and I could easily see them winning this game, I'm taking Bama still. I'm sticking with Nate Oates, John Petty, and all those other guys in the Bama team because they're my national championship pick in my original bracket, and I just think that they're the better team in this game. If you saw their 3-point shooting against, who was it, Maryland that last game, lights out, lights out. This Bama team is going to be hard to lock down. Gonzaga, USC, going on to the Elite 8 games. I got Gonzaga, USC, I got Michigan, Alabama, I got Baylor, Arkansas, and then I have Loyola, Chicago, and Syracuse. So let's start off with Gonzaga, USC, because that would make the most sense. Gonzaga is going to make it to the Final Four. I think that they have a pretty much cakewalk to the Final Four, even though I think that USC team is really, really good and underrated. Gonzaga is just at another level right now that I'm taking them. Let's move on to Baylor, Arkansas. I said Baylor's the best team in this region, but I'm going to take Arkansas here. Yes, Baylor has had some good wins. They beat Wisconsin, who had an amazing win against North Carolina, but was that a Wisconsin team that just played a really bad North Carolina team at the time, and then their true colors showed against Baylor, and Baylor just won against an easy team? Arkansas, in my opinion, is going to be the first real challenge for Baylor, and how will they respond to that? Well, in my opinion, you obviously see, I don't think that they will respond in the best way. That's why I'm taking the Arkansas Razorbacks to the Final Four. Moving on to the Midwest, Loyola, Chicago, and Syracuse. Do I dare take the Ramblers back to the Final Four? What a treat that would be. What a treat. Honestly, either of these teams I'd like to see in the Final Four because I love seeing a higher seed in the Final Four, especially a 10-plus seed, but I'm going to go the Ramblers here. I just think that they're overall the better team here. You play a really good Illinois team, and yes, I have Syracuse going on and beating Houston, who is an extremely good team, and Syracuse has also beat West Virginia. I think Loyola Chicago is the way to go. And then Michigan, Alabama. Michigan was good against LSU, but I think that Michigan definitely showed signs of being beatable. And if this Alabama team is able to shoot like how they were, this is a team Alabama team. You know what Nate Oates preaches. You're either taking it to the hoop or you're shooting a three. There's none of those mid-range shots, and I think that that's really working for Alabama in this tournament, so I'm going to Alabama there. Leads us to our Final Four of Gonzaga, Alabama, and then Arkansas and Loyola Chicago. I want to pick Bama here so bad. I want an all-SEC matchup because that's my SEC bias speaking. I'm a huge SEC fan, but I can't do that because Gonzaga is the best team in this tournament. I literally cannot pick against them right now until the national championship, until they take on either Arkansas or Loyola Chicago, and I'm going to go Arkansas. This team is getting red hot right now. Woo Sui Pig, or no, it's Woo Pig Sui. Screwed that up. Whatever. Taking Arkansas to the national championship to take on Gonzaga. Who am I going to take here? Because I'm Canadian and because Gonzaga has a Canadian. Obviously, this isn't the only reason I'm picking Gonzaga, but it would be nice to see Andrew Nembhard come home with the national championship after transferring out of Florida. I think Gonzaga's got this thing locked up, really. I think Alabama might be their hardest game of this whole thing. You're going to get your hardest game in the Final Four. I think no matter what, you're going to face an easier team, I think, in the national championship because I have Baylor going out and I have Houston going out. And even if those two teams make it to the Final Four in the national championship, I'd still rather play those two teams than have to play Michigan or Alabama in the Final Four. So Gonzaga's probably going to face their hardest team of the whole tournament in the Final Four, but all in all, I think this team's going to win, and I'll add in a score for you guys for fun. I think I already added 87 in there. I'll go 89, high scoring for them, to 78. They're going to win by a big margin. So that is my second chance bracket, Sweet 16 picks, Elite 11 picks, Final Four picks, National Championship picks, all those previews and everything. It was fun. I love filling these things out because it just gives you a second chance, and you get to see the team play in tournament play. You're not just taking them out of the conference tournaments. That's part of the reason why March Madness is so hard to pick a really, really good bracket, just because of how inconsistent the teams are from the conference tournaments to the actual NCAA tournament. So I have Gonzaga winning it all. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I appreciate it. If you liked the video, of course, down below, drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know who your national champion is. Subscribe, of course, if you love college sports or any sports in general. And thank you for watching. And definitely come back next time.